So thank you guys for joining me here on Twitch. I started making this video earlier today, and I was just going to record it. It was just going to be a normal YouTube video. But like so many of my videos, I've been having a ton of problems where when my mouse cord touches my mic cord, it messes up the mic. So I'm getting a wireless mouse. I ordered it a week ago. Still haven't gotten it, but I think that's the solution to doing this, because I can't tell you how many of these lectures I've actually messed up because I start recording something and it's great and it had a lot of killer jokes and I was actually really happy with the way that I did it and the way I presented it. But then there's something wrong with the mic, so I can't put something that's that horrible on YouTube. So with that in mind, though, with a good audience of people here, I'm glad a lot of you are here. I want to talk about the Gruenfeld today. And there was somebody on YouTube, a guy named Sam. He said, I just want something about the Gruenfeld. Can you give me some line on the Gruenfeld? So there's a million ways to play against the Gruenfeld, which of course is d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, d5. And black goes for his big share of the center. And there's a million different ways of approaching this. And at some point, I probably will make a series on bishop to f4 with a focus on the Grunfeld gambit, which I think is a really interesting one, but objectively is probably equal. So that's probably why people don't play it, but it's still really interesting, and you can get a lot of good positions. But one trick line, if you had to just say, like, what can I do against the Grunfeld? I got to play somebody in, like, 5 minutes. Like, give me quick a trick against the Grunfeld. The line that I would just suggest, really simply, is to take. So far, nothing unexpected. But now, when they take back, instead of playing the main line, which of course is e4, knight takes, we take back, just the normal exchange variation, instead of going for this, I would just recommend, if you just want something tricky, get them out of book right away, knight to a4. And knight to a4 is actually a pretty good move. I don't think it's theoretically all that challenging to the Grunfeld, but that's not really the point of why you should play it. It's okay. A lot of people, I guess, haven't seen it. A lot of shock in the crowd. You're gonna like some of these variations then, if you're not familiar with this. It's just this will get you out of book, and it has a very interesting idea. The idea is actually very principled. The idea is in the main line, we go here, they take here, and we get this big center. However, black has traded one piece, and the real goal is what you want to do. You want to get the big center, but without trading pieces. So black is going to say, black's going to have less space, black's going to be a little bit cramped, so let's keep the knight on the board, and our next move is still going to be e4. Your knight is going to move away, and white's still going to get this huge center. Okay, and now there's two lines. Now, I've played this actually in quite a bit of tournament games. For a long time, this was my kind of tournament repertoire, and it's pretty easy to put this in your repertoire pretty fast. And bishop g7 is like literally the only move that anyone's ever played. There is one very, very, very interesting line, and I'm going to take the database away on purpose so that I can ask you guys a couple of questions. But if you haven't seen this line, this is a really, really, really interesting line where white can get this very bizarre pawn structure, and there's a little bit of a trick here for black. Now, the reason you won't see this is because black would actually have to book up on this, and it's really not all of that great for black. Thank you so much. Chess is the best game. I appreciate it. So after d takes e5, what black can do here is play bishop to b4 check, and he has a very interesting way of exploiting this knight over here. Okay, after bishop to d2, right? Very normal. Doing that for too long. Yeah, always let me know right away. Thanks guys so much, because the first video did get messed up, so hopefully this one doesn't get messed up as well. Hopefully the mic is better, and hopefully you guys, especially if you've never seen this, look for what black can do in this position. This one is this one's amazing. So what would you guys play here as black? Sorry, yeah, this is just a fantastic idea. If you don't know it, it actually would be really hard to find. Yeah, okay, but Pega. Okay, a lot of people see it. Okay, every time it's white to move, or I don't know. All right, knight e3, knight e3, knight e3. That's the move. And what's going to happen is, attacking our queen. We can't take with the bishop because we're pinned. We take with the pawn. And okay, now what happens is they take here. We take back. And here's how you exploit this guy. Now you win back that guy by tossing in this check. And after we have to block, they take back, and we get this very, very unusual pawn structure. And I've actually shown this to people because it's one of just the most interesting pawn structures I've ever seen. White's got the triple pawns. White is up a pawn. And I will ask you guys exactly what you think of this, because I think the answers are always very interesting as to what people actually think about this position. I have a pretty strong opinion about it. I've looked at it for quite a bit. Triple pawns for the win. Triple up on the bubble up. Fantastically chaotic. Limousine on the E line. Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Would you guys prefer to be white here or black? Black. Black for sure. I would be black. That's almost always what people say. White is more central pawns, therefore clearly better. Black is slightly better. Most people always say black. Triple isolated pawns can't be good. That's always what people say. More black. Trying to get connect 4. People always prefer black, but I think this is really good position for white, and this should be avoided by black. And as we'll kind of see, like, it's not easy to actually defend this thing forever. So I think white actually will be up in the long term. I think we will stay up a pawn for, the foreseeable future. White has a very easy plan. We're going to develop our bishop, develop our knight. We're going to get castled, and we actually can use this f-file for an attack. Rooks can come up to f4. We can kick queens, we can double on the f-file, maybe rooks can swing over. So something like this will happen. We can put this guy back on. At some point, whenever they put enough pressure on our pawn, if they do that here, now, or later, we're always going to have queen to c3. Queen to c3 is going to be like a typical idea. And it's never really going to be that easy, even if you go for this pawn right away, not that these are the best moves or anything. You never really, even if this queen somehow attacks this pawn again, you're never really going to be threatening to take it without also offering this guy. And I don't know, it just never really in real games seems to happen. And white at some point, like especially if this bishop ever blocks this pawn, at some point we are going to go through with this, and you might get a big attack. And a lot of times they don't have a dark square bishop. We're going to get rid of this guy if we need to. Queens and rooks. It actually can get very, very dangerous. But I don't know. Yeah, I think everybody I've ever shown this to, overwhelmingly, everybody thinks that this is good for black. And I really don't think that it is. This is very low depth, so I wouldn't trust this completely. But it does say +1, 1.2. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's just a fascinating position that you guys are welcome to go for. But what happens is, after knight to a4, for those just joining us, this is a Grunfeld lecture with knight to a4. They almost never go for that. So you're not going to see that all that often, but I have to point it out because it's absolutely amazing. No, if you're just joining us, we're now going to look at the main line here. So the main line begins with bishop to g7, which obviously is a very good way to start. And this is what basically everybody's going to do. Okay, our point was we were going to play e4 without trading the knight. So we play e4, and there's really only one sensible square for the knight to go back to. Going back doesn't really make any sense, because at minimum we could just bring our guy back. We don't necessarily have to. Maybe we can protect the center with other pieces. But, okay. This seems to be the only realistic move. Now, thank you guys so much. Now we need to defend our center when the knight goes back. The whole point of the Gruenfeld is black attacks the d-pawn like a million times, and then tries to open up the center and attack white. White does need to catch up in development. It's very true. Is it still bad? Oh man. Is it still bad? Oh no. So let me do some stuff here. Ah, shoot. Ah, oh gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. I got it. Yeah. Well, that has to be there, and that has to be there. I don't know. How did I do? All right. We're gonna put this right here, and our mouse. We got just this very, very limited range of motion. All right, we're good. We got this temporarily solved. All right, thank you guys again for helping out with the mic. So yeah, if this ever ends up on YouTube, we'll just cut out that 30 minutes of trying to figure out the mic, and they'll never know. They'll think it was probably 3 seconds or something. So, okay, center under attack. Okay, so they're attacking this d-pawn 1,000 times. Now, bishop to e3 is the way to go. You could bring your knight out, but whenever knight to f3 happens, bishop to g4 is going to be black's typical idea. Again, it's all about using all of the pieces and the d4 square. So bishop to g4, attacking one of the things that is defending the d4 square, is the only way a light squared piece is going to be able to help in the big fight for the center here. After here, at some point now or on the next turn, black might toss in this knight check. If they are going to do it, they usually do wait one turn, and then after knight f3, they can consider going here. It's not very common, and you can see that it actually does score very, very well for white. But yeah, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, and then they can do like whatever they want. But you just continue. You know, now we got this for the guy, and the guys come out, and you just kind of play normal chess. It's not really a big deal that you even need to worry about. After bishop to g4, this is kind of critical. Once this bishop goes and the b pawn is attacked, that's when you want to play the move knight to c5. And yeah, the knight on a4 also really protects against the c5 break, which, I mean, every Grunfeld player really wants to play. So that's a very good point. And now we are threatening here. So the critical move, and we will look at one game that was played, is knight to c6. A lot of people aren't going to want to do this because it gives up a pawn. So a lot of people, for the first time when they see it, they'll play something like queen to c8, which is the other move. And both of these make a lot of sense, but knight to c6 is very critical because white is still not castled, and black does have chances of just sacking a pawn and trying to crush white. So that's what they probably should do. But if they play queen to c8, I think there's one good move here. Bishop e2 is a very good move. I think the best, if I can remember right, I'm trying to remember this from a long time ago, is queen to c2. And the main point is that after, let's say here, we actually have a really good move for white. And this, I guess, is a pretty good time. I mean, like, it's not like a tactic. It's not something like that. But if anybody wants to figure out what white's best move is here, just to make sure that we do understand the position, I will give chat a chance. And I know what you guys are begging for. So while you guys take some time to figure it out, I will take some time to do this for you. Boom. Okay, talk. You guys are on YouTube right now, so start talking. Say some words. Did it work? Okay, so there it is. I just want to get kind of what you guys are, whatever you guys are thinking. D5 being suggested as one of the potential moves. D5 is very often a good move. D5 is usually a good move when there's a knight on c6. So whenever this knight comes to c6, then usually d5 actually will be good for white. To give us a small indication, in some line like this, let's just back it up for a second. In some line like this, and kind of ignore that the pawn is hanging. What we need to do, let me set up a fake position here. Let's set up a fake position. So something like this, where they take here, and you get this pawn structure. Typically, something like this will be very good for white, when you can bring this rook into c1. And then you can sometimes castle, sometimes stay in the middle, and sometimes play h4, h5 with a big attack. But in general, you want to save d5 for an opportunity when there's actually a knight here that you're attacking. But in this line, after they protect their pawn, queen c2, rook d8, we're kind of looking for a good move, not like it wins or anything. And I think eBillion has spotted it. A very good move here. Uh-oh, is the mic bad again? Oh. I hope it's not bad again. We can edit it all out. They'll never know. 95 is an awesome, awesome move. And the reason is, boop, that'll come back later. Don't worry, you guys will get it back later. I know you need it. The reason is this bishop doesn't really have all that many squares to go to. It looks like in previous games, the bishop's gone back here, which is very sad, and then maybe it's going to go here. But this definitely gives white enough time to get developed and castled. So if you get all this in, and you get all your stuff out, and you get castled, life's good, because we got the center. So, you know, we're doing well long term. We just need to get our stuff out and castle. So for that reason, instead of going for all of this, running back the tape one more time, when we go here, as soon as this bishop comes out, we want to attack this pawn. If knight to c6, we will actually take a brief look at one of the games here that was played. A game between Alexander Riazantsev versus Jean-Pierre Roux. And so this is a 2700 grandmaster playing in a long tournament. I think it will tell me actually what tournament it is if I do go down here. Time control unknown, but it was a standard game. If I remember right, though, it was a long game. It was a French top 12 championship kind of game. So a very big game, and 2700 here is playing. So here you go. People that like d5. It's possible. Doesn't score very well. What you want to do is you want to take this pawn. And I've actually had this position. So when I play this position in tournament games against like master level players, what happens is they all think here for a long time. And every time they think here, for some reason, this is where I forget my stuff. And they always play here in the end. But I always sit here. Because then, you know, if you're just sitting here for 10 minutes, you think, well, wait a minute. I always think the same thing. Why isn't this the main move? I have to remind myself every single time. I'm like, wait, why isn't this the main thing? And if they do go here, this actually might be the subject of an attack. Possibly not right away, because we got to worry about stuff like knight to b4. But yeah, if you just back up the knight, you are threatening to just bring this guy in, and then maybe at some point you're going to be able to sneak this guy in. I think if you do it right away, as chat has pointed out. So here immediately we have to figure out what's going on here. Is going to be one of the issues. So I think right here this doesn't quite work just yet. We can double check. Maybe it is fine, but I don't know. You have queen e2 to defend your bishop. So, I mean, it's not, you didn't lose or anything, but we can do better. We can do better than this. I think right here, I can give you guys just kind of a generalization. It's very, very, very little bit better for white. You know, not the best thing in the world, but hey, that's definitely not bad. This is very playable, and it's very complicated, so somebody really might win. But yeah, if here, knight c5, and then we threaten to just go here or something. Okay, but what everybody does is they play queen to b8, because now the queen will just never get attacked there. Now our thing is attacked, and now we can go here, because now if knight to b4, which was not played in the game, but it is kind of the most popular move, f5, just trying to really aggressively open everything up. So black in this game just plays f5 and e5 and really tries to open up the center and crush white before they go back. And I had this, I don't know. I had this joke. So I actually spent some time. I'm trying to describe this thing. So in the first time around, I tried to find a good adjective to describe this. White's position is very like resilient. I guess that's the right adjective. Even if black gets all these moves in and opens up the center, it still holds very nicely for white. It's not so easy to just break in and crush white. But most people in this position, just so we know kind of what the most popular move is, they play knight to b4, where now we do need to drop our knight out in order to defend our bishop here. And something like this will happen, and I kind of want to put some of the normal tactics on the radar. Obviously, you see rook to d8, and then even this tactical shot, bishop takes d4, are on the agenda for black. So as white, well, for both players, you want to be on the lookout for tactics on the d-pawn. For example, if they do take here, I think white should probably ignore what's been played before and just play something like bishop to e2. If you do go here, there's going to be some tactics. Like if you take this and they play rook to d8, they have a couple of threats. For example, if we just play some silly move here now, not only do they threaten e5, but there's also this idea to look out for, with the big idea that there's this forking square. So yeah, this would be horrible. So watch out for all these tricks, all these tactics on the d4 square. If they take advantage of it, I think what you need to do is just chill out. Let's actually double check that what I'm saying is right. If rook d8, if here, yeah, bishop e2 is fine. Taking is also fine, but yeah, I mean, yeah, just play bishop to e2, and you got a great position. If rook to d8, you can always castle. Queen to b3 is always a tempting move in these kinds of positions. Move your queen, castle, play bishop to e2. Just watch out for the tricks on the d4 square. But in this game, instead of going for any of that, after bishop to a6, black plays this move, pawn to f5. And from here, we'll turn this off. This is I think the one game in the database, and we're going to start to try to play a little bit like white from this position. So f5 is coming. They threaten to take our guy. You know, we might close it up or whatever, but I like this move. He just takes on f5, which also weakens the black king as well as getting potentially an attack against the white king. All right, the rook takes back. This is kind of the most aggressive. And then maybe black will be able to follow it up with some future aggression as well. White backs out. Now, we might be able to go here. In my experience, it's actually, you need to time this really well. I think I've had more than one game, mostly in Blitz, where my next move in any situation like this is bishop to b7, but it's wrong because black will do something here, and black is doing aggressive stuff. So it's not always about winning that exchange. We're pawn up and happy. It's not always about winning that exchange, but it definitely can be. So it's just a move that you need to calculate, but don't just think you can automatically do it. Like if here, it's not like automatic that this necessarily wins or not. I don't know if it does, but it is worth having a look around and paying more attention to what black is doing before you just go in for this exchange. I just say that based on a few bad experiences. So how's it going, Neil? Queen b3, getting the queen into the game. And now taking here with the knight. So we're going to get a lot of trades. A lot of stuff is coming off. And it's really not obvious that black has anything for the pawn. So we're up a pawn here. And it doesn't seem like there's really anything for it. So the opening's been a huge success. And again, he's not rushing in. I assume here, maybe you can just go for this rook. Looks like maybe you can, but castling is again correct. So yeah, just watch out for these things. There might be some evil intentions by the opponent if you sometimes go for these things. It's just not such a big deal. So watch out for that. Just get castled. Just ignore that. Don't worry about it. The threat is stronger than the execution. And around here, okay, so here this attacks the knight. So defends it. Rook comes in, and now h3, trying to kick this guy away. Luft is nice, and getting control of the d1 square, also very nice. The bishop has to move away. And then here, a little bit of cat and mouse, just a little bit cat and mouse, and then white finally decides to go and try to win this game. And now I really like this next move by white. White now finds the winning plan here. Potentially, we're doing great. Okay. Black has got something. There's a little bit of counterplay, I guess, but really nothing serious. We're a pawn up. But how would you continue here? I really like the plan here. And white just played a couple more moves and won this game easy. Like, as if this is easy to do. So, what would you guys play here? As you guys say it, I'll actually put this back on. I'll put this back on. I know you guys want it. Boom! It's your guys' turn to talk. I'm done talking. Your guys' turn. How's it going? My name is Joey. Surfing. Well, shout out to Michigan. Thanks for watching. Knight a4 being suggested. You would blunder the game away with g4. Knight a4 is big time being suggested. And I think this has the right idea. The idea is you're trying to remove the defender of this rook. So I like it. I assume the rook will need to move. Knight a4, where the rook will go somewhere. I don't know, c7. And I mean, you can trade the knights, but I don't think that's a huge accomplishment. But I like the idea. I think the idea is right. I think the idea is definitely right. G4 also being suggested. Seems risky. Seems risky, G4. Even if this bishop has to go somewhere like really silly, not that it has to, but even if it has to, and I guess it has to, then, you did weaken your king. This is going to give black a lot of serious chances. There's going to be a lot of squares that might become available to black. So I'm not a huge fan of this one. This one, I like the idea. But I like what Evelyn says. Evelyn, I think, got the first one right, getting the second one right. On fire today. On absolute fire today. The move that was played in the game was pawn to a4 with, the simple idea of asking this knight to leave. Just get your knight out of there. And it's really not that easy for the rook to go anywhere particularly good in the game. He went back. And now another very nice move here. Bloop. Poking at the rook. And after here, attacks the knight. And the problem is there's not a great square for the knight to go to. Black went here, and white played one more move. White played one more move, and the game came to its conclusion. So I ask you, what is the winning move here, guys? What exactly would you guys play if you had white pieces? Rook d1 being suggested. This seems like a good idea. I imagine there are a couple different ways of protecting it. Pawnilla! Pawnilla on the ball. with the rook to b5. Or sorry, bishop to b5. What is this one called? Attacking the rook, and all of these squares are taken away. This knight on b7 is so tricky. It's taking all the squares away. And now there's nowhere for the rook to go that keeps in connection with the knight. So here, at least, at minimum, black will be losing in exchange. And yeah, you're playing a 2700 guy. And game is all over from here. So that was actually the very last move of the game. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think of it. What do you guys think of here, where you know, black can play this insane move, or they can go here and you can kind of play what is kind of the main line. Again, the main ideas. You know, we're defending the center. It's all about defending this center after, you know, some moves. Whenever they come here, that's when we go here. We do fully intend on taking their pawn. So if they do sack it, we will take it and we will defend our guy. Then they can either go here or play as in the game. But either way, it should give white a very, very good game. So this is just a nice little tricky line. Last chance to say hi to YouTube as I wrap it up here. I think that did go really well. That's just kind of my little opening. If I needed to tell somebody, this is the kind of opening you could explain to somebody in just a couple minutes and be like, here you go. Here's your little trick against the Grunfeld. You can really surprise people, and it's not that bad of an opening. So I hope people do give it a try and then let me know how it turns out for them. And if there's other openings and you're like, man, I just need kind of an easy reply to this sort of opening, let me know too in the YouTube comments below. So everybody say bye. Bye. Thanks for watching.